Welcome back. Now, up to this point, I've been looking entirely at the process of solving clues, how to break them down, how to understand them, what to look for. And last time we saw how the word good substituted just for the letter G. And once you start thinking like that, it opens up an enormous number of possibilities. And there are certain commonly referenced spheres of knowledge that occur a lot in crosswords. So we're going to have a little look at an example. Time period is unknown feature. 4 letters long, time period is unknown feature. Now, I'm not going to worry too much about the process at this point, so give this one away pretty easily. It rotates around the is, this is this. Time period is your definition. Now, both of these are quite interesting. Feature could be the word, the verb to feature, to play a part in, or a magazine feature, an article, something like that. But in this case, it's ear, a facial feature. So that's the sort of sudden breadth you have to try and come at the words with. This could be anything. You think of the word, the number of words that ear or chin appear within in the English language. It's incredible. So that use of the word feature is fairly common. Now the answer overall is year. A year is a time period, and the unknown is the letter Y, because maths and science, when they're using calculating something that they are unsure of, X, Y and Z are often used as the unknowns or variables. You'll see that one in crosswords as well. So variable axis, remember the X, Y and Z axis on a graph? So if you see unknown, variable, axis, they can just mean, they can be synonyms. Variable probably could do other things as well. But the X, the Y and the Z are often substitutions for those 3 words and other words as well. These are by no means comprehensive lists. I couldn't possibly write down all the ways in which all the words we use, but they are fairly common, good ones to look out for. Now, once you've opened yourself up to that sort of mathematical, scientific area, you think of the number of things that are substituted for by a single letter in the scientific world. Energy, mass, the speed of light, time, power, distance, velocity. Then you've got anything that falls into this category or this category. Measures or units. So any measure of weight, length, time. So a second could be an S, a minute could be M, mass can be M as well. So you've got such a sort of range of options to choose from. You've got all millimeters, meters, centimeters, liters, moles, the unit of dilution or whatever that is. These 2 words could have an enormous number of meanings. So this is when you start to sort of slightly reverse engineer and think, I reckon the answer is year. Why does that mean, why is that a Y? So once you've got a lot of the pieces, you can come at the clue from 2 different directions. You can say, I think it's this. Do those bits of that word possibly substitute for any of the parts of the clue? So you can come backwards from the answer, which often helps when you've got such an enormous range of options. So you've got your weights and measures, and the other thing you've got, which obviously you don't have to memorise the whole thing, the periodic table. So chemical elements, enormously handy to crossword setters, because you've got gold, AU, you've got iron, Fe, silver, Ag are quite common, K for potassium because of the sort of Arabic, German, British nomenclature confusion that went on there. You won't get the really obscure ones. It's the same with the sort of more physics-based science stuff. You're not going to get Euler's number or something. You're not going to get the lanthanides at the bottom of the periodic table. You might get one. You're going to get the more common elements. So a brief familiarity, hydrogen's quite handy to them. Helium's quite handy to crossword setters as well. There are a few that occur quite frequently, and they could be signified by the word element, or certain ones by the word metal or gas, and then you just have the single letter, or you'd have the full name. So I can in no way write a comprehensive list of all the things that you might make reference to, but it's just good to know that sort of tangent, that whole sphere of knowledge is out there, is frequently referenced. Noble is another one. The word noble, you will see a lot in crosswords. Obviously you could be talking about earls and barons and dukes and things. You can also be talking about the noble gases down the right hand side. So you just have to take every word at complete face value and think about anything that might sort of cross your mental path as you're thinking about it. So yeah, generally they will be fairly common pieces of reference. They won't be things that you have to have an advanced sort of maths degree for, and my science is all right, it's not great, but I've heard of most of them. Even if you end up looking it up, you've generally heard of them. So it's just to keep in the back of your mind that maths and science will frequently play a part in what you're looking for and can help you condense those enormous clues into those tiny answers. So hopefully that hasn't dismayed anyone too much, and happy solving. Quick postscript, as I realised I'd missed off oxygen, O, and nitrogen, N, from the list of elements you'll commonly find in crosswords, and indeed on the entire carbon. I'm making it even worse. Anyway, yes, all of the elements that you may have heard of and probably need to live.